Hi guys! I wanted to do a little quick video because I was really inspired to do one. You know, because we're always evolving, always processing and thinking and, you know, reflecting on our everyday experiences. And, you know, I find within the everyday we get a lot of opportunities for learning. So I wanted to bring up this one experience that I had that was definitely involved in learning and caused my emotional body to react. Not where I reacted externally, but more just I could feel something moving inside, and it was uncomfortable for a bit because I didn't really know how to work through it, how to take it, I guess. So let's go into the experience so you can understand a little bit more. So I met this lady at a craft sale locally here, and she was really cool and she was so creative, and yeah, I'd never seen her before, and I guess she's new to this area. And when I began talking to her, her and her husband, they're very friendly people. She was very spiritually open and, you know, has traveled all over the world, and I couldn't help but notice like there was a little bit of an ego, you know. Sometimes in the spiritual world you get a little bit of, you know, people who, you know, they externally project their ego a little bit with their experiences, but so I could feel that a little bit, but for me, I was more just really excited to have met her because I am living in a small town, and you know, when you're spiritually open and awakening and developing, and you know, there's only so many people that live here that maybe view the same things, you know, or see the same things as you. And I'm an experiencer, you know, with, you know, spirit, I guess, and ET phenomenon, or different species of beings, and, you know, so she kind of got that, even the fairy realm, elementals. And so she understood that, she got that, and was, very wise in the sense of her experiences. So it was really cool for me. I was really excited to meet her, and I was just shining lots of love out because yeah, there's that excitement, and to be another person that's similar to you in that way, in that aspect where you have those commonalities. And I really wanted to hear more about her travels and her story, basically. So I put it out there that we should, you know, maybe have coffee sometime. You know, that's kind of what normal people do if they seem like, you know, hey, we have this in common, and so do I, and, you know, and we're both friendly people. And, you know, like, there's definitely conversation to be had apart from where we were at this craft sale. Like, I felt like I could talk to her for hours. And so with those relationships generally, and I have met other people in the past where that worked just perfectly. You know, you put it out there to meet up for coffee or whatever sometime, and you get to have a chat and get to know each other better and talk about spiritual things, and it's super fun, right? So that's what I was thinking anyways. Well, right away she goes, no. She's like, we don't do coffee. And I was like, oh, like my whole insides just went, like, awkward. Like, it's like, oh. And it's not like they attacked my ego. I was just like, I don't know how to handle this. What do I do? Because, like, 1 minute you're from one extreme of like, you're amazing and you're awesome and I love you and you're so cool and I'm so excited to meet you. Like, I felt like the happy, friendly puppy, my energy. You know, and I just wanted to hang out and play. And she was like, so I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah, we don't do coffee. I'm like done. Oh, so that's what she said. I'm done with the people thing. I'm done with the people thing. And she even used her hand. And I'm sorry to laugh, but seriously, I was like not expecting this at all. Because I've never experienced this to this extent. So, and she's like, yeah, I just don't want all the angst. And so when she said that made me think that I was projecting energy that for her and her perceptions and where she's at, you know, I was kind of sensing that she's like, here I'm like up here and like really like, yay, blissful, happy, and where she was at, she's actually dealing with some, because I found this out as talking with her, that she's actually dealing with some almost like kind of mental health issues, but it's more in the sense of a condition that she's trying to work through, something that she's being diagnosed with. So, you know, I think in frequency wise, like we weren't a match at all. We were almost like on different sides of the energy field. So even though I'm spiritual and she's spiritual and we both like the same stuff, our energy was completely different. And this made me think, after I've done like some processing, because I just didn't know how to handle this, and yeah, I just didn't know what to do with that. I was like, wow. Sorry, that's all. It took me time. Then I came to the realization of our energy. So even though I was projecting love and excitement and embracing her, for her, because she was not an energy match, she was kind of on the opposite scale, was receiving that energy, even though it was love, she was receiving it as angst. She was receiving it as very uncomfortable for her. And it had me think about source energy and how we're aligned, that when you're moving up through energy fields, you're basically, source doesn't see good or bad energy. It's just energy, and it's a frequency. So say you've got the neutrality point here, and say this side is like negative side, and then this side is like positive side, right? Like more light and love, that kind of thing. So as you move up your scale and you're here in this light, very light energy, you're also a match to that of negative polarity energy. You're of an equal signature in terms of source, because source doesn't designate what's good or bad. So there's always an opposite of equal frequency in the negative realm. So as you move up, then you're going to go even further down, right? So that's basically how it works. So for every positive thing, there's like equal imbalance, the negative field as well. So I was shedding, you know, my love and joy and excitement to hang out with her and get to know her, and, you know, yeah, just be in space together. She was on this side and saw and received the energy of angst, and obviously more of a negative formed energy. So it kind of was a lesson for me of that, of remembering that, you know, just because you're putting out a certain vibe and energy doesn't mean it's going to be received that way, you know, because it all depends on the perception of the other person and where they're at consciously. Yeah. So another thing that it made me think of, because I went actually into, just for a blip of a second once I got home, just to figure out what was going on and how do I handle this. Like, I don't even understand it. So I asked my guides, you know, what was this all about? And they said, not everyone is seeking. And I was like, oh. but it wasn't a, see, there's an emotional piece to that too, not just the words. And what that meant for me was, for me, I'm looking for other people who are in the spiritual community that I can hang out with and see, and I'm kind of a type of person that's like, yay, you know, people. And it's not where I get a high off people, believe me, I need the alone time to recharge, but it's kind of like I'm playing and practicing with the unity consciousness, basically, and I'm trying to embrace others as myself and see myself in others, or, you know, yeah, that kind of thing, basically. Like, so when I'm with another person, what are we working on, you know, working on the self. So it's kind of playful and fun. But for her, she has already done that, maybe, perhaps, I'm just assuming, but for her, where she's at, she's not seeking, she's not trying to seek out people, she doesn't want to be around people, right? So she's not even seeking other to work on self. So obviously she, for herself, is also working on herself in just a different way. So part of this lesson was also embracing that, and, you know, that it's obviously her free will, right? Just as it's my free will to go and hang out with people, it is for her to maybe isolate herself or become very quiet and hermity almost. But to not to take offense to that is, I think, the biggest thing, that everyone has their own free will and their own choice on how they wish to spend their life. And for her, maybe her blissed out state is just being in with nature, even, maybe, you know, I could see her being a real nature buff and just having that solitude and aloneness with spirit and nature, versus being around with other people. So yeah, I thought, you know, I'm gonna share this experience just in case maybe there's someone out there that's had a similar, you know, case of weirdness, you know, in terms of talking to other people, other spiritual people. That was one for me that was just very different, but it did teach me some lessons. So I thought I would share it with you guys. And yeah, just keep on keeping on. And I don't think there's much else to say about that. So I hope you guys are all doing well. And yeah, I guess we'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.